What made you expand to the mall?
Honestly, man, it was opportunity. It
Yeah.
wasn't planned at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way we run the business, right?
Yeah.
It's like we see an opportunity, we want to jump on it, and that's a
Yeah.
position that I was in.
Yeah.
So we've been running EXP, we've been running the organization for some time, and it's like we finally wanted to go back and start up our team again, because
Yeah.
I ran a team before.
Before
but
COVID, or?
Well, yeah, before COVID. It was my Keller Williams days for the most part.
Oh, wow.
We transitioned over to EXP. It's always been me, myself, and an agent, and maybe another agent that's helping
Yeah.
us run the Victorica group, right?
Yeah.
So then throughout time, it's like, okay, we got the organization to
Yeah.
a certain level where we're like, okay, we want to get back to the Victorica group. My last name's not as common as everybody else's
It's
last
not.
name.
I thought it was a combination too.
Yeah. So it's like I've always wanted to grow it to where it's known, right? So we ended up talking a little bit more on let's create a team, let's get that back going, let's get an
Nice.
office space. And we looked at a few office spaces and we had already found one.
Yeah.
And we're about to sign, man.
Yeah.
So then the conversation became with another agent where we're like, hey, well, let's do this together.
Right.
Then a lender came in and the lender's like, hey, well, I want to be part of this too. And
Yeah.
then it came to where, hey, there's office space across the street from
Right.
us, or across the
Plaza.
plaza
Yeah.
from us. Do you want to check it out? And just like you said, it's like,
Yeah.
well, do we do it big? Do we start small? What do we
Right.
do? So in our case, we were starting small
Yeah.
because that's what we were going to go with the route on the team.
Right.
And then that opportunity came and it's like, okay, well, let's see how many agents would want to join the team. And we ended up getting a good handful of
Yeah.
agents. And we're like, you know what? Let's just go for it. And
Nice.
we went in, man. It took about 3 months to really be like, hey, this is y'all's office. And even
Yeah.
that day it was like, okay, is it not?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to work?
I remember when you first opened up, like people weren't even comfortable going into the office.
Yeah,
Still, you know,
'cause-
it was still kind of like a weird time.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like, what do we do? It's like COVID's just, I mean, we're in the middle of it. It's going to be a year here pretty
Yeah.
soon. So it's like, do we have classes? Do we not have classes?
Right.
So,
Right.
but I mean, we're approaching a year, man, and it's been a blessing. It's helped us grow. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
amazing. So,
That's the way I see it. It's like when you jump into the next level of a business, you know, phase, it becomes heavier, it becomes scarier, but then also more opportunity.
correct.
You know, because how you're operating now, it's probably not possible if you didn't have, you know, an office.
Yeah, and I mean, on a personal level, I truly believe it because we see it right now, and it's like we have agents on several days that we're all there. Then
Yeah.
I go usually every day
Yeah,
during
it's
the
like-
week, and they're not there. So it's like, but we've seen where me personally on my personal production, it's motivated me to get out of the house because as real estate agents with EXP, there is
Yeah.
no office, you know.
Right.
So it's like I go in there, treat it as a job. I clock in at about 9 a.m.
Yeah.
and I clock out about 3, 4, depending
Yeah.
on what we got going on.
Yeah.
Then I get home, work a little bit, and then spend
Yeah.
time with the family. Versus
Plus, you're paying so much for it, you got to use it.
yeah,
Right?
you gotta use it. So even if nobody's there, I'm there. So
It's like
But-
I thought about this. I want to work from home. It's like, man, but no, I'm paying a
yeah,
lot
I
of
have an
money for
office.
this.
Yeah, let's go over there. So, but it's nice, man. I mean, you really separate that work life with the family life. Like I know
Yeah.
once I get home, I'm clocking out for the most part, unless I know I have
Oh.
something to do or if I have showings to do. So,
So before this, it was kind of blended. Your work life was, I think you had a home studio, right?
correct.
Home,
Yeah,
home
we
office.
work out of the home office. So it was a little mixture of both because you have personally at the
Yeah.
house, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like computer wise, I just have my laptop, but that stays
Yeah.
away. My MacBook, my iMac, everything's at the office.
Yeah.
So there's really not much I can do unless I pop that laptop
Yeah.
out. But it does. I don't like working on the laptop.
Yeah.
So it's like it really separates it
So
from.
you've really set it up to where at home, you're at home.
Yeah, and I have to go to the office to work. If not,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna work. So that's why I go. That's where I'm going right now. So.
Nice. It's interesting because it sounds like, and tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you almost set it up to where you force yourself to work a certain way.
Correct.
A lot of agents, this is just not even agents, a lot of entrepreneurs like want to get to a place where they say no, 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 no. You know, sometimes they start too early. They get a license or they start a business or they create an LLC. Next thing you know, they're saying, oh no to this opportunity. Oh no to, I'm going to sleep in. But people don't realize is that for example, you've had to work and build.
Correct.
So now you have the option to like say no here, no yes, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about like how you put yourself in that position.
It takes time. I mean, I think it's a lot of discipline for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of yeses at the beginning. Yes to everything, man.
Right.
I mean, I see a lot of agents and just people in general where it's like you can work as much as you want. and they don't take the opportunities. As we talk about opportunities, right? When we first started, I mean, I did 7-8 rentals, and I was pushing rentals and pushing everything, which a lot of agents shy away from.
Yeah.
So I think you say yes to as much things as possible.
Yeah.
And once you get to that position, it's like you could start selecting. Like now with the team, it's like I know total caliber of price point where I'm going to work on and be dedicated to, and then the rest is going to go to my team members or my buyer's agents as well as listings.
Nice.
And it's funny that, I mean, just getting into a conversation, there was a listing that I had that I knew I shouldn't take one time, and it's like that brought on so much stress, and it just came back around this last week where it didn't sell. But now we have connections where that listing's under contract already. So it's like, but knowing how to say yes. And then you get to that position where, okay, you know what, I might delegate this to somebody else, or I might do this differently, or I might say no. So,
how long have you been in the real estate business?
It's going to be 6 years, man.
6 years?
So it'll be 6 years in October.
Wow.
So.
And how long were you like a solo agent?
I've been I mean, personally, I would say a solo agent for a good 4 years.
4 years?
4.5 years. I think we really started pushing the team side of it about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
On the team itself, we had the structure where it was myself always doing everything, and then I had a buyer's agent that would help me with showings, and then a few deals in here and there, and I've always had an assistant for about 3-4 years.
Yeah. So, was that assistant now your wife?
No. So we separated that. So my assistant's an actual agent, so my buyer's agent.
I see.
We had thought about it, but it's like what happens is if I get busy and then she gets busy, it's like we won't have that time where it's like we're always going to be working. So we did that separation. So
why was it important that she also gets involved in your business?
I don't know, man. I think the biggest key of it is seeing what we actually do in real estate. Because I would get home and tell her, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. But it wasn't a full connection on this is what's actually going on. This is what we're doing. Yeah. And she has a lot of potential. So bringing her into the business and seeing her build her own business as well has been insanely amazing. Then another thing too was just EXP itself. It's like what it offers. I wanted her to take advantage of it too. So
cool. But would you say that for any spouses that live together that operate different businesses, or any boyfriend or girlfriend, you think that it's more beneficial for people to team up, or is it more beneficial for to have it separate? Personally,
I think teaming up is the best way. Because, I mean, that's your spouse. It's somebody you live with. It's somebody you're building a life with. Why not build a business with it together,
Yeah. I think why is that important?
It gives the motivation, man. It gives the why onto, hey, we're building something together for ourselves, for our family, versus you can be separate and it's like, hey, your transactions are over here, your business is over there, my business is over here. Yeah. If you look at it at one point, this might be competition versus doing it together. You're building it together. And I truly do believe is the more family that we help together is the more people that we're going to be able to grow with and continue building with. So,
nice. So Mario, what would you tell Mario of 6 years ago when you first got licensed, right? When you first stepped into the real estate industry, what kind of conversation would you have with that Mario now?
I don't know, man. And I teach this to my agents a lot. So it's like we do a mindset training on what would you tell your younger self if they were in front of you right now.
Mindset training?
Yes. So just seeing on a lot of people accomplish so many things and they don't realize it until you're really sitting down and thinking, hey, what happened 5 years ago? Hey, what happened last week? Hey, what happened last year? You know? And I struggle with thinking about it because when I got into this business, a lot of things with life were going on. A lot of things were happening. My grandpa, which raised me, passed away as soon as I got my license. Oh, man. So it's like me thinking of what I would tell my younger self 6 years ago gets me really emotional because it's like 6 years ago I lost the most important person in my life, and it's like now we're here, I think, at the most successful time in my life, and I wish that person was there, right? But something I would tell my younger self is just don't give up. Like just push through, just keep going, and it's all going to be worth it. And I feel like at times we get in this rat race and we get in this circle where we're just going and going and going, and we don't realize what we're doing as we're going. And you just need to stop one time and just think, okay, hey, we've accomplished so much. We've done so much. And it's like, it's only getting better as long as you continue hustling and as long as you continue working.
How did the young Mario persevere when at the time the most important person in their life, left the planet?
Just no choice. I mean,
No choice.
I'm a big believer in fear or faith. It's like we're gonna succeed or we're not gonna succeed, and it's like, I mean, that person is gone, but I'm also the oldest out of 7. I'm the only boy or male in my family, so it's like I couldn't sink.
Yeah.
Like I had to swim and I had to make it ashore and build for our families because it's not a big family. So
there's no alternative.
Yeah,
You had to succeed.
that's it. I had no choice but to make it. You know.
What if the circumstances were different? Let's say, you weren't the oldest. You didn't have that responsibility. You had some stability somewhere else. Do you think you still would have that fire or passion, or was it necessary to be like all in?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think about that all the time. And it's like, I think I have something in me, something in my blood, something of that entrepreneur that's like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do well. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to help others succeed. So I don't think it would be different, but we just never know, right?
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, just sharing a little bit about my life is I met my older brother that I know about when I was 15. So it's like I grew up as the oldest until I was about 15, 16 years old. So that mindset's always there. Now me and my brother are doing so many things together, but we're growing together. Yeah, he's older than me.
Like, man.
So it's like, but I didn't have that until I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
And it's like by that time, it's like that relationship started building in my 20s and until now, So it's like I think it would be the same because I've always been a believer on building with your family and growing with your family. Mm-hmm. So,
Wow, you mentioned something. You've always been an entrepreneur. How do you define what an entrepreneur is?
I think it's that person that would rather work for themselves and their family and build and risk it all and push to make it something to leave something worth having, right? Like to build for themselves and continue building. And I mean, versus we're in this business, I don't think I'd ever go back to work for anybody else. Like even if I got out of real estate, I'd focus on either investments or a restaurant or anything out of going back to working an 8 to 5. I mean, I like working all day, every day for the most part.
So as operating a small business, let's say someone who's working a 9 to 5 in IT, right, for Apple or something, and they ask us, so what does it feel like to run a small business? How would you describe running a small business to someone who clocks in, clocks out, gets paid every Friday, has health benefits? Like, how would you describe what a small business is?
I mean, it's nonstop. The way I see it is I clock in when I wake up and I clock out when I get home and just clock it out, but that mind's still going. The beautiful benefit is I know I'm going to get rewarded, or I'm going to help a family, or something besides just a paycheck that you get every 2 weeks. It's like something beyond that, something beyond just getting paid. It's like changing somebody's life and changing my family's life while we're doing it together. So,
wow, man, that's a good answer. Going back to the entrepreneur, when did you know like that you were a little bit different than most people?
It's funny, man, because I've always been the type of the opportunity or type of trying to make a quick buck or trying to grow, right? Yeah. So I mean, even when I was in elementary, I remember I'd buy like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and I'd sell them. Yeah. There was a time where you'd make nails or like paper nails and poppers, I think is what they'd call them, and I'd make them and I'd sell them at school, man. So it's like from there I transitioned to investing.
What gave you that drive?
Seeing my mom struggle, seeing my mom working every day, all day till. Hopefully, I mean, it's been about a year or two where we pretty much retired her. Yeah. So it's like seeing her working all the time and just no excuses, just like what we drive or like what we talk about, right? Right. Is, I mean, she worked so much for us and gave so much for us. Yeah. It's like just any way I can help her to not have to work as much or not worry so much about what I need, right? Because I'm able to get it. Is my mom.
Wow, man. So. It sounds like, your entrepreneur drive is fueled by big whys, your mom, your family, Is that like an important quality, you think, in people who are trying to either start or run their own business?
I think so, man. I think that has a lot to do with is that why and the people around you. Because the biggest thing is the reason I'm doing it is for them. Yeah. Like I want to help my siblings. I want them to have the opportunities that I didn't have. Yeah. And that transitions to my children. That transitions to my mom, to my wife, to everybody around us. Yeah. And then just helping individuals outside of it, bringing them in and teaching them the same thing I'm doing. So. Yeah,
you're basically handling two big pillars in your business: production and then training.
Correct.
More like mentoring. So tell me a little bit about your production. Let's get into some of your production numbers. Tell me if every year or at least for these 3 years, what's your production volumes been? And were there goals that you've always set, or did you accomplish those accidentally?
Yeah, always, man. I mean, I'm a big believer, and you got to know what that goal is going to be. You got to know what you have to do today to get to the weekly goal, to the monthly goal, to the yearly goal, and to the 5-year goal. So I mean, just production year to date, and it's funny that you tell me that because we just checked it yesterday without even knowing you're going to ask me that, right? So year to date, we're at 97 families that we've helped, man.
Oh my God.
So last year I finished at 96. So knowing that we're halfway through the year and I'm at 97 families, we're at a little over 26 million is like, it's insane because I have 6 more months to go,
And January 1st, like, did you say 180 families I'm going to help? Over 100?
Yeah, so we're shooting for 200.
200.
Our main goal is 200, and we're at 97, so we're tracking along to get it.
Nice.
And I mean, at the beginning of the year, we had a bunch of changes, a bunch of things that happened. So it's like we slowed down a tiny bit, and I mean, the market itself has been going up and down, and all these changes.
It's definitely changing in the last few months.
But we're at 97, 26 million for the year. It's like we're halfway there, and I want to finish at 250 families, give or take.
Nice.
And then next year we're going to shoot for 400. So even at that, we're halfway through the year, and we already know what our goal for next year is going to be. So
wow. So that I call that like sub goals or chunking. Like
correct.
Your goal is not 200, it's 400.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have 24 months.
Yes,
not
sir.
12 months.
And that's the thing is when we first started, there was an agent that once told me, and she told me, she's like, at the half of the year, you're going to know what your next year is going to be. And I was like, she's just BSing. That's not true. And then now it's like, it's true because as you're helping families, especially with the new build market here in San Antonio, it's like you can contract the house now and it's going to close next year.
Yeah.
And then you just start piling up and building that downline, or not the downline, the pipeline. And it just keeps going and going from there. So
it's amazing, man. But how many new builds would you contract, like average?
So we shifted, we changed. So my new build production was about 70%. All of them were new builds. But this last year we changed it significantly because the new builds wasn't the same.
Right, they weren't selling.
Yeah, so we just upped up our listings and we helped pre-owned and just went from there. But I would say new builds is about 70% of my business until last year and COVID and all that. This year I want to bring it back up because I enjoy the new build side of it. So I enjoy that process.
It's a different machine than like a resale.
Yeah, and I mean, it's time too, because you get a family, you help them, you're not with them for 30, 45 days, 60, you're with them for 6, 7, 8 months. I mean, we have a new build right now, it's been a year and a half, and it's barely in the frame stage. So it's like, but you build a relationship with them, we see them grow. I mean, we went through a whole pregnancy with one of the new builds where she was pregnant when we contracted, and she had her baby before the house was done.
Wow.
So it's like, it's a whole process to it, and I love it, man.
So going back, you're at 97?
Yes, sir.
Units
97.
This year. What did you do last year?
Last year we did 96. So I finished the year with 96. Yeah.
And the year before that?
The year before that was 67, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I mean,
what did you do your first year?
Man, so we go back to it, right? So my first year was tough. So it's like I talk about it.
I can see the heaviness in your eyes. Like, it was tough.
So we look. I mean, I've had a month where we closed 11 families, if I'm not mistaken, and it's like that's what I did my first year. We finished with 7 rentals my first year, and I want to say I did about maybe 7 or 8 deals my first year. So it's like, and I was excited, man. I mean, I came into this business not knowing any real estate agents, not knowing what was going on. So I mean, to me, that's making 30, 40,000. I was like, dang, this is good. This isn't bad, right? And then going to making that in a month, it's like, oh my God, what did I do my first year,
right?
But I mean, the beauty of it, what I've seen is like agents like Mitchell, my brother, they're not doing what I did my first year. They're doing way more their first year. They're doing even better
what you
their
did
second
your
year.
fourth year.
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, that first year was rough, but I mean, we had so much going. I mean, I got into real estate full on. I quit my job, went into real estate, and then I ended up getting a full-time job along that first year. But we kept pushing.
Yeah, that's good. That's an important part. And you mentioned, Mitchell and your brother, and what they're doing now is what you were doing like your fourth year.
Correct.
Tell me more about like what it means to you to mentor people and to teach people. Is that like is that something you've always wanted to do? Did you fall into it?
So I fell into it, man.
Yeah.
I think I enjoy a lot helping families get home ownership and buy a property and sell a property and so on and so on, right? But I think what I found in my passion is helping real estate agents help families and help real estate agents change their lives. Because I mean, you look at me, I got into real estate. I never thought I'd be where I'm at. The financial freedom side of it, the investment side of it, that's nothing that I had ever thought about. Then I look at my brother at 22, 23 years old doing what I'm doing at his age. Then I look at Mitchell that started without any real estate experience doing what he's doing now. It's like I found a real passion on helping agents and changing their lives and then helping them change other people's lives, you know? And that's what I love to do. Like it's a cherry on top to what we do. So
someone told me a long time ago, and it stuck with me, like over 10 years ago. It's like the idea of a coach or an instructor. It's like there's a lot of pleasure in influence someone to grow and change.
Correct.
But there's also bigger pleasure in witnessing.
Yes.
You know, right? And that's kind of what a good coach does. Is like not only do they influence growth, but to see it, to witness it is like.
And I agree, man. It's like we look at it and it's like you see agents that started. I mean, yourself. Yeah. I mean, you're doing amazing. Like you see agents that start a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you see how they're growing and how they're staying in the business. Because I mean, you know the statistics. Yeah. And it's like it's just their whole life completely changes. Yeah. And what I love about it is agents that stay humble, that know where they come from, and continue doing that same mindset to the agents that they bring on, and we help all together, all around. So.
What do you say is a core principle from agents who succeed rapidly, as opposed to agents who struggle initially?
I think it comes to this. One is your heart, the why on why you're doing it, having that clear, and two, grinding. It's like we talk about that yes or no, is knowing that at the beginning you're going to work. I mean, you came to be an entrepreneur, you're going to work hours. And I hear it all the time where I want to get into real estate to not work as much. And it's like, no, you come into real estate and if you don't work as much, you're not going to do anything. But
there's a joke, like I quit my 9 to 5 to start my own business. Now I work 24/7.
Exactly. So, but the beauty of it is you're working for yourself. You're working for your family. So, but
that's a very interesting point, you know, because when you're building your own business and operating your own small business, like everything you do is on you.
Correct.
You sleep in, it's on you.
Yep.
You work overtime, it's on you. Yeah. You have money in your bank, it's on you. You have no money in your bank, it's on you.
Yeah. And it comes down to it.
Yeah. So. Seems like your core principles are why and grinding.
Correct.
You know, which kind of reflects like why you've had so much success.
Yeah. And I mean, and we talk about the goals, right? And it's like, I know if I'm short on goals, I got to grind more. I got to work more. I got to talk to more families. I got to have more conversations. Yeah. You know? And then if I don't do that, then my why, which is my family, is going to not suffer from it, but they're going to be impacted from it, you know? And I mean, we like to live a good life now. So it's like, there's
and then with great power comes great responsibility, right? Like the whole Spider-Man saying, because now the Mario 3 years ago had less responsibility.
Correct.
Had less kids.
That too.
Had less house. Had less, business operation.
Correct.
So now the Mario today, like, what do you have going on today, Mario?
You see, and it's crazy because it's like we got to that level where we're like, okay, once we get to it, we're not going to take on more. We're just going to focus and live life. And it's like we got to it and we're like, we're only 28 at that time, right? I was like, we need to do more and we need to work as much as we can until we're 30, 35. And then from there, it's like, okay, let's get back.
It sounds like you weren't ready. You still you're still building. You're still in building
Correct.
mode.
So I mean, just year to date right now, I mean, Mario now we have 313 agents as of today. We've grown 100 agents in the last year, which is insane. Wow. Without the office, I mean, we just got the office in December, so it's like we've seen that growth continue to grow organization-wise. Team-wise, we're at 18 agents that we're running on our team. We just brought on 4, so we're gonna include them and get everything going here shortly. What else? I have a flip going on that we're doing right now. We got a couple of rentals. I mean, it's just
let's talk about that. You mentioned investments. Why is investing? Do you do any real estate investing yourself?
So I do the flipping side of it. My biggest goal is, I mean, the main reason why I got into real estate is I wanted to learn the market, wanted to learn how everything was, and then just jump on the investment side. Then I saw what you can make in real estate by helping families, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put that investor side back for a little bit. And then now just going back into it is, I mean, I started going to school to be an architect. So, and then I got out of school and then I started the real estate side of it, right? So it's like, I enjoy houses being built. I enjoy bringing houses back to life. And then at the end of the day, it's not just bringing that house back to life, but somebody's going to enjoy it. So we get a distressed property. I'm going to fix it up, make it nice, sell it to somebody or pass it on to somebody. And that person's going to enjoy that home, you know?
How many flips have you done in your career?
We've done 7 total. I'm on my 7th one right now. So it should be done in the next 2-3 weeks, give or take.
So is the reward what it seemed? Is it better? Is it more work than what you expected? Are you going to continue doing it? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
So I'm going to continue doing it because I see it as a hobby. Like, I like doing it. putting it on the hobby side of
Yeah.
it, right? I like helping families more and helping
Yeah.
agents more
Yeah.
than I do flipping, but it's just getting that extra source of income coming in.
Yeah.
Real estate is slow. I know that investment's
Yeah.
going to sell. Or I know that investment's going to come in.
Yeah.
It's just having different ways. We go back to the entrepreneur mindset,
Yeah.
right? It's having those different ways
Yeah.
of getting income coming in.
So
That way,
instead of having a hobby of playing video games, you have a hobby of...
And I game.
Yeah.
I game a lot too. So it's like, but you got to have those extra sources
Yeah.
of income that's
Yeah.
going to help you if
Right.
you have a rainy day or if something
Right.
happens, you know?
Right.
Especially with the Mario now that we have the
Yeah.
office, we have so many other things involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But-
And how many rental properties do you have?
we have two.
Two?
Yeah, so we have two, and we're working on a new build that I hope finally closes, and
Oh,
it'll be our
nice.
third one. So
How long have you had those rental properties?
one has been 4 years, and then the other one's been about a year and a half, 2 years.
Year and a
so,
half.
Yeah.
Is your goal is to get more rental properties, or it just kind of happens as you move from house to house?
So I mean, we shoot for 3 flips, 1 rental.
Yeah.
So it's like we do 3 flips, get 1 rental, 3
Yeah.
flips, get 1 rental, and I
Yeah.
mean that's the main goal on it, is just keep going and
Yeah.
then adding to that portfolio.
I see.
And you got to build it.
Yeah.
So
And why do that if you're already making money selling real estate and teaching people? Why?
So I had an agent back in the day that told me that when her kids got to 18 years old,
Yeah.
she had already bought a property. So she bought a property for
Yeah.
them. She rented that property
Yeah.
out. Once they were 18, is they either live in the home, sell the home, use it for college,
Yeah.
or rent the home out.
Yeah.
So that's something that I want to build for my kids. And then their kids, and so on and so on. So I mean, we're in this business to help families buy
Yeah.
homes, but we don't do it, you know?
Right,
So it's
right.
like, why not? So that's the main thing, is versus spending money on other things, is let's invest in real estate. So,
Yeah.
but
Nice. So the goal is to
just build a portfolio.
one house for each kid.
You know? So I need 2 more, man. I need 2 more.
You need 2 more,
Yeah.
man. Let's talk a little bit more about your business operations, man. What does your day-to-day look like as a CEO of a real estate group?
So I mean, my day, Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we meet with the team. I get to the office at about 9:30. I lead generate for myself for about an hour and a half. I call it the power hour.
Yeah.
Then my agents start getting there about 10:30. We sit down, we brainstorm, we talk about what's going on with their business, how's their life, mastermind, and then see what listings we have on the market, see what contracts we have, usually on Mondays, and then just go from there. Tuesdays I go in and it's appointments. I'm either meeting with agents, meeting with clients, and then just finding a way to brainstorm and grow either the revenue share side of it, our organization, and our team.
Yeah.
Wednesdays is more contracts. So usually I'll meet with my mentees, mentees that I have, and then as well as my team. Hey, let's go into how to win a multiple offer situation.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the market going? So more on the brainstorming side of it. Thursdays is lunches.
Yeah.
So I'm either building relationships with lenders, with title companies, with agents, with friends.
Yeah.
Like Thursday is mingling for the most
So
part.
if I ever want to catch you on lunch, Thursday.
You know. And then Friday, I call it Freedom Friday. I build my revenue share on Fridays.
Yeah.
And then the agents that want to come in and build the revenue share with me, we're either brainstorming on, hey, what do we do to talk to more agents, or just grow it per se. So it's Freedom Fridays. Saturdays is usually appointments.
Yeah.
And Sundays is family.
Yeah.
So family day all day. So.
Wow. That's amazing, man. You seem to have a really well-oiled process.
Yeah. And it's a checklist that we follow every day.
Yeah.
So it's like I have my checklist the day before. So I'm a big believer. You get your day on Sunday ready for the week, and you know exactly what you're gonna do. So
why live on these principles, man?
Because if not, your business crumbles, man. I mean, I've seen it where it's like you live on a disciplined lifestyle or on a consistency lifestyle. It's like it makes your life a lot easier. You get a lot more family time versus before it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wake up at this time, I'll generate at this time, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then by the time I know it, it's 8, 9, and the kids are already going to sleep, and I've been working all day. Because you're really not working, you know.
Right.
So it's like having that lifestyle where you know what you're doing on every hour. It helps you live your own life outside of the business that you have. So
wow, man, that's some good stuff. The way you build your week, you know, it sounds like you work a lot on your business. When do you find time to work in your business, the production value side?
Usually that power hour. So I mean, we'll have that power hour during the day, and then I reflect on a lot of it on Sundays. So it's like I wake up super early, and I'm just thinking, either reading, just brainstorming on how can I make my business a lot more, how can I run it a lot smoother. And that's something that we teach our agents.
You ever heard of the book, the E-Myth?
The E-Myth? No, I've seen it, but I haven't read it.
You should look into it. It's pretty easy read. and it talks about the entrepreneur myth. That's what the E stands for.
Nice.
And it talks a lot about, like, you know, technicians who think they can do it better themselves, so they start their own business, but then realize running a business is a different skill set than actually being a technician. And what happens most of the time is, you know, a good technician is good at doing that thing specifically, and they spend all their time working in their business.
Correct.
But they never have time or don't know how to work on their business, you know. And you seem to have a really good balance. Like, you know how to spend time to grow the business at the same time. Spend time to, you know, have your own production value. Yeah. So.
And you see, we leverage out a lot too. So when it comes to paperwork, to offers, to showings, to TC, like my main focus on our business is to find the business, to cultivate it, to convert it. So from I start talking to somebody on the phone, or I convert a lead, or we're talking, or we're whatever the case is, right after that, I have somebody that puts them up on a search, that does all the paperwork, that does everything all the way to finish. So my main thing is getting business, getting more people to come in, getting more people to see us, versus before we would lose so much time on the showing the houses, the paperwork, all this. So it's like we've built systems that helps us focus on that business itself.
So you mentor, you coach.
Yes.
Do you get mentorship?
So yes and no. I've tried it. But with everything EXP offers is I live in that EXP world. So I'm learning from all the agents all over the nation on what they're doing in different market centers. I've tried the coaching, but I feel like it's interfered a little bit more with what I have going on. Where it's like I had to choose, okay, so can I take advantage of everything EXP offers and continue doing everything we're doing for the organization, for the team, so on and so on? Or should I focus more on myself and then let this go? And I love this a lot more because we're still doing really good on our side, on the real estate side. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in you got to keep learning every day. It's like, if you stop learning, you stop growing. So
and it's very easy for someone, for yourself, who has a lot of success pretty early on in a new career, 6 years only, you know, to still find motivation to be humble and like, I'm still a student, you know.
And I mean,
a student in the game, you know. So, you know, we talked earlier about, you know, what would you tell yourself 6 years ago? What kind of conversations are you going to have with Mario 6 years from now?
I don't know, man.
Like, what are you curious? Like, so what would you ask him?
How's it going, man? How's life? Like, where are you? Like, cause we look at of life, right? Like, we look at it right now, and I mean, we come from little, man. We come from little, and being where we're at 2 years ago, I mean, that was a blessing. You know what I mean? So every year that we've been growing has been a blessing. So to be at where we're at right now is like, man, it's beautiful, you know? Like, I'm able to help my mom, I'm able to help my grandma. Like, we're able to help so much more out of than just my wife and my kids. So it's like, I think about 6 years from now, and I know it's going to be amazing, and I just can't think of how it's going to be 6 years from now, like, you know. And then you start thinking about 10 years from now, it's like, I mean, where's it going to be? Where's my brother going to be? Where's, like, it's just, it's amazing, man.
It keeps coming down to the underlying principle of why you're doing this. Because let's say if it was for the money, then you probably would have already surpassed your goal.
Correct.
And you probably would have already maybe moved on to the next. But because your why has always been consistent about helping people you care about.
And you see, and that's what I love about being a real estate agent. And that's why I haven't jumped into that investment side of it so much. Because I'm a big believer in you follow the money, you follow greed, it's not going to end well. But you follow the helping, you follow with heart, you follow with love on something that you like. The money is a cherry on top. It's a reward that comes along from helping other families, as well as the agents. You know, I mean, you just continue to grow. And you continue to grow with people that you want, and life just itself is a lot better. So but I mean, 6 years from now, I have no idea, man. But I know it's gonna be good. So,
is it important to set goals?
Yes, all day, every day. From the daily goals all the way to the weekly goals to the yearly goals. Is if I know, for example, right now we just crossed 97, and I know we crossed 97. If I didn't know that, it's like, I wouldn't even know where we're at. So I know we're already going to crush one of the goals that I have, but now I know I hit the gas a lot more. We're going to even surpass it, and we're going to get ready for that next year. Like I told you, I mean, our next year is 400 families. We just crossed half of the year. So you need to have those goals because it clears that vision of where you want to go. It clears that vision to know in 6 years, life is going to be even better, you know? So goals all day.
Nice, man. I love it.
How are you doing, man? How's family? How's life?
Good. Really good, man. Thank you for asking. We just got a house.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you, man.
Congrats.
You know how it is in the industry, man. When you first transition to full time, you know, we've been in W-2. You got to wait 2 years, you know, for your taxes. So we waited. We have a nice, cute little house, man, down the street from here, from the studio.
Nice. That's good. It's a good area too.
It's a good area, man. By the medical center. Yeah, man. Business is going good. I kind of do both, kind of like you know, you operate, you know, your productions and then your team, you know. I just kind of have I'm just me by myself.
It's awesome, man.
But what I've done year to date is more than I did it last year, you know, already. And I think it's because, my man.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that it has to do with, you know, following the principles, you know, and also being like business minded, I would say. I try to operate myself as a business because kind of we are a business, you know what I mean?
Correct.
And then also balancing real estate and dance, you know, this is like a full-time job.
I can imagine that. It's another business.
It's another business. So the good thing is that we've been doing this business for 4 years now. And so I already have a rhythm to it,
Nice.
and it's, but I can't imagine if I'm starting 2 things from once. Like,
correct.
You can't. Right now, there's just so much work I have to do for the real estate business that it's hard for me to work in and on my business. You know what I mean? As a solo person, you know. So the way I see it is like, you know, 5 years from now, you know, I want to have my own brokerage. You know,
Nice.
and 10 years from now, I want to be able to have an operation going that where I'm more operating the ship, not working on the ship. You know.
Correct.
And so I'm willing to take my time and learn slow, do the right moves. I think the fastest way to success is going slow.
Correct.
Going right.
And the beauty of it is you do it right.
Right.
You do it right. You learn from it and you build something that's going to eventually take off.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. But you have to have the right propeller, the right systems,
everything.
and so that when it flies, it flies.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of like in the early stages of I'm learning what I need to learn so that I can start building what I need to build.
That's awesome.
As opposed to building and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
And so I'm very happy, man. And, you know, I work twice as hard as I used to when I was doing a psychiatric social worker. And you've seen me grow from the beginning.
That's awesome. It's been great seeing you, man.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
In fact, I remember the phone call still, you know, I was, when I first got licensed, you know, you took my call and you helped me out. So you were actually my first mentor, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because I remember that phone call too.
Yeah.
You were with Alyssa at that time. Yeah, I remember that phone call.
Yeah.
Exactly where I was at too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Nice. But any last questions? Any final thoughts?
No, man. Just that I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here in front of you.
Told you it was gonna be easy, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I know. Once you start talking about things that you care about or you know about, like you forget that there's cameras on. You know.
And then
you
went right into it, super smooth too.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, it's incredible to see what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
And you know, for me, also operating a different business and just real estate, seeing how you operate your business, I admire you, man. And like the way you kind of manage things and the way you're growing. That's why I had to get you on, man.
Oh, and I'm here, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. But thank you, Mario. We'll be seeing you soon. And catch you next time.
Thank you. See you later, man. Take care.
All right, we're out. Good shit, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Imagine. I forgot to press it.